Welcome back. Okay, so got two videos to make, but then I was talking on Twitter about I posted this because someone posted the images, and I was like, well, and then like natural or man-made in relationship to the divide between these stones. And I've talked about this before. I'm pretty sure I might have done a full episode on this. I didn't bother to look. If I did, it might be titled Al Nasla Rock, but I don't remember that, so maybe not. But the point is, there's a bunch of features which are maybe more visible without my drawings on it here that kind of suggest like a focal point and maybe another focal point over here where current, this is kind of what I was thinking, is current is flowing into it, like a current, but it's flowing into it more in divided currents, so that there's different pressure points. There's a pressure point here and a pressure point that is now gone, like so it was up here somewhere, but maybe around here, that were adjacent, and that led to like a ring type structure that fanned out into like a V because it's interacting between the two. So like if there's two pressure points that are then spiraling, maybe I'll just go like this real quick. Oh yeah. Do you see? I forgot about this too. Well, maybe we'll get to that. But essentially, like here, that's then creating like a propagation outward. And another one creating a propagation outward somewhere over here. That's generally what's leading to these structures. So they're basically as well as the other way. And let's just do that for the other way over here. For yellow over there, I'm just lazy. Okay. But the point is, it comes in and it goes out in all directions from a general focal point, a pressure point. So it's going in all directions. But because there's pressure this way and there's pressure this way, these currents then collide and behave like currents colliding, like there's pressure, which then leads to a deflection into and back out, but the pressure is generally flowing into these like this way and past them. This is kind of straight on, these arrows. They're not angled like that, but straight on. But towards these faces, this side of the rocks. So essentially, when the current goes back in opposition to this, it's not as easy, whereas this is actually in the flow that this is going. So it ends up getting encouraged as well by the overall flow, which then I know it's kind of crazy how straight it is, but it creates a divide between the two systems that divides it. So that's kind of what I thought about it, and I haven't really thought about it since. But I was looking, I was like, I just kind of out of curiosity said, where is this? Like exactly. So it's here. First of all, the first thing I notice is a bunch of like parallel lines, like right here. Which maybe is in part cars, but like this one, and this one, and this one. There. If we zoom out, those, follow them over here. They're pretty much parallel with these, which are certainly not tire marks. So it gives me the impression, first of all, there's a current going this way by these. The way these are etched, wherever they were. These. So we got some aspect of current flowing across this way, which also is visible over here. Similar to what I just drew, where the current is running into resistance, and then in so doing, it's splashing into itself, and then running into resistance that way too, where then it causes a divide down the rock, which then just regularly happens in a spaced way, like a discretely spaced, where it's not just a continuous removal in it or current through. It tends to take like preferential paths, which seems to continue over here. Over here we see all these. They're just all very much like sliced this way, this way. So let's just zoom out a bit. Okay, so this is where we are. So they're sliced. This way. So really, this way. And if we go over here, it's a little, like, we can't tell from the image what face is what. Looks like the divide based on this image is that way, but if we go like this and click like right here, these are the two faces we were just looking at. I mean, I don't know how exact this is. I clicked here. It almost looked like they were this way. Let's say I click here. Maybe that was like over here. Okay. Okay. So if around here is looking at the backside, from around here towards all this stuff, where I guess people did like donuts or something, I don't even know. But notice the back. So basically, that's the back side. So if we go back here, we've got the front side, the flat-faced front side, which is south facing, and then the back side, which is north facing. The north side is different. So the front southern facing side has all of this like nuance like this that's kind of peculiar, whereas this side looks a little more normal. Besides down here it has some like almost like Lyson gang rings at the base. Like that kind of structure going on. Looks kind of like that at the base, just at the base though. Down at the bottom. Hard to see. Let's see if maybe I can find an image I didn't draw on. Just trying to see it from above. So what I was thinking is the side, this has to be the side that current flowed into. Like that makes sense to me, that the current ran into this, which it does in shallograms. It runs into a surface and can make it a flat surface, and then from there start to etch it in ways. So maybe in this case it also made it a flat surface, I don't know. But then it seemingly came through that way. Or that way? No. That way? Yeah. In that direction, like passing from behind where that car is through the rock this way, coming towards us. So that when it hit the rock, it kind of went around it. Like this side wasn't hit. It was more so water falling down this side. So I was thinking maybe water went around it, but it also went above it. And then when it went above it, it didn't just like ramp off towards us, like up at the top, like way up there. It didn't just ramp over it and keep going. It waterfall down, which I think is part of why these features ended up happening that I drew like this, which are also visible over here somewhat, like the blocky segmented aspect of it. And then maybe it, like near the base, hit the ground that was there at the time, which maybe was higher, because it doesn't seem like there's any evidence of water flowing over this and hitting the ground and then splashing back, basically what I was thinking. Or maybe it comes back some reason, like due to like this amount of volume of water hitting this and going around it and then coming back over, but then it like concentrates to the bottom half where it then splashes back, kind of like this, where it hits resistance of the ground and then goes in two ways. One of the ways is into the face of the rock, which then, because it's two pressure points of currents in the front, like here and here, it goes over the top and hits the ground and splashes back into these zones. Maybe, I don't know, I was thinking that. So the reason I started recording though was because I was looking around, like, okay, let's say that it generally is cut that way. Like south to north generally. I was like, that's a little odd. Because I started thinking about it, I'm like, what's going on? We got currents. Let's go to some currents. Currents in Eurasia, that's probably relevant. So notice we've got this red current going through the Mediterranean up there, but whatever, and across here, and over this way, as well as up this way, from up here and across down here and over here. So maybe this isn't like them capturing every nuance, but this one was pretty basic. But essentially there's a current flowing this way into the Himalayan area, and that's running into resistance. A water current, by the way, during the flood. So this water is running into the Himalayas region, resistance of these other currents really, that are actually physically there. So when this other current coming from the North Pole region crosses over towards the pressure, it essentially builds a wall between the systems, and then it deflects around it, although it actually cuts through it, interestingly. That's Dammit Arkund over here. Cuts through in the Kali-Gandaki Valley region here. Physically cuts a path through the center of the Himalayas. So there's current flow going this way, running into a current flow going generally across this way. So we've got like a perpendicular intersection of currents where the current going across this way essentially overwhelms the current going from the north, so it can't cut through. It runs into it, it bends, essentially bending the path of the current, but it can't actually get through the current, and because that would essentially cut off the current unless it was more powerful than it would be able to. But because it wasn't as much pressure, it ran into it and just went another way around the resistance. So it ended up going really both ways, but a lot of it went across this way, and we've talked about that in other videos where it kind of like goes specifically this way, where this structure is. It's trying to go this way. If we look over here, there's this little indentation here, another one here, and then this like terminal looking thing. Like if we look at the top of the Himalayas here, there's this terminal looking thing, very much like that. So there's one of these effectively forming here. So that's a little odd, is what I was thinking. And then, but more specifically, if we look at Al Nasra rock formation here, there's this arcing area, which strongly, just as well as by this boundary, this combination here of everything, as well as the way this bends, strongly suggests that there was current that went in this way and ran into resistance. So it started to build like a boundary that has a arc to it like this, where it flowed in here and then around this way, essentially running into currents flowing across this way that are applying a counter pressure. As well as if we look at over here, Al Nasra rock formation is pretty much like right across this path. Like if we follow this straight line and just keep off of the end of the Himalayas and just go across, like from here to the rock formation, wherever that was, maybe I could find it. Somewhere over here. So my thought is current that went into this region from across this way into this region, but then was like squeezed by all the pressures to then just kind of shoot out this way. A portion of it was able to actually influence all the way over here, leading to this terminal's boundary, like extending this boundary, this region inward, rather than having it go more across this way. It actually led to current flows going in here. Is kind of what I was thinking. So if there's a pressure from over there, a current generally going across this way, that keeps going, but like it's above the, importantly it's above the terrain. It's not just at the ground level and like within the confines of the terrain. It's actually the global flood where all things were buried below water. So it's not like the water is like limited or restricted to the contours of the terrain. It's just the waters closest to the surface were most restricted, but also influenced by the overall currents. So there was a current generally going out this way. Seems to have a boundary with over here too, maybe. Like in that region. Just applying a general cross-current pressure. So what then happens is, because there's this cross-current pressure, when another current runs into it, it can essentially restrict the flow. Where my thoughts are, these structures, let's go back wherever it was, there it is, that we see like this, are related to current flowing in here and up this way. But then there's this cross current that's also like restricting, making things blocky in this area like this. So generally leading to the blockiness of the Al Nasra formation. Nasla. Also, something else I noticed, if we just kind of look here, like through here, through here, through here, up this way, up this way, up this way, up, and then it kind of bends. Like it seems like it goes this way, like generally seems like it goes that way, but we also see like a contour where it almost looks like it's going over here. So maybe it had like a pathway that it was following, a lowest point that was along that path that then divided up here, almost like a river can divide and have like a little island between it, or whatever it's called, where there's a current flowing this way and this way and around, but also like deep underwater. So like this block is still exposed to the current flows. It's just there's higher rates through these channels, leading to this structure being influenced by cross currents that are, as well as one over here, just the general current through the Mediterranean, which probably went more so this way and down underneath, physically went below the resistance. Like all these currents, imagine there's like a flow that's like a sheet, like a blanket, and there's another flow underneath that sheet. It's not going to be as easy to just flow into the sheet, so what it ends up doing is making channels basically that it etches to cut underneath the sheet of current flow. So it goes this way underneath the current flow. and out. Finds a way out, probably because there's currents going this way. As it goes this way, it runs into them and deflects out this way, which are wrapping around here. If we look at like this, although I'm not sure if this purple or whatever is right. I'm not sure about that one. But they're running into this and maybe bending it over there. And then this one goes over this way. Between, and again, they did it in discrete incremental segments where it didn't just cut through continuously. It cut through here, and just made a exit valve or path for the pressure over here, the currents that were flowing in here, and like pressure was pushing behind it, flowing in. It doesn't just like build up. At some point it flows out some path that it can actually physically etch in the structure of the earth, and did so, creating the Red Sea pretty much, and then cutting through here, creating the Persian Gulf. I believe I have those names correct. That's definitely Red Sea, right? Like, that's definitely the Red Sea, right? It's more so the Persian Gulf. Okay, yeah. Bunch of little islands. Whoa. This one seems to want me to look this way. Let's see what that's pointing at. It seems to be pointing at whatever is there. If there's a current here going across, maybe there's another current at a different level, kind of doing a similar thing going across here. Across here. Seems possible it went this way and reached there, and then extended into there like that, kind of like it did over here. Like current was flowing in here, creating this little V-shape indentation. As well as in here, in this like flame shape, where it's flowing in, and then doing a lot of other stuff. But there tend to be indicators of like a where flow went onto the continent from something that is now water. It tends to have some feature that indicates it. This looks like it might be such a feature. But if we look here, like right here, even this, like if we take this line and then like parallel to it over here, right at this tip area, like it's pretty much pointing at Al Nasra as Al Nasla Rock Formation. And this thing seems like it's like related to where the cross currents are flowing. Let's look around some more. I haven't looked into Saudi Arabia all that much. Like, I know there's some really curious things. Like, whoa. That's down there. The rock formation's up there. So it's almost like current went this way and then went that way and ran into resistance, which then filled up this area until the current going into it deflected over this way and kind of like swirled here in some way where it then led to whatever's going on here. I don't know if that's the case. I doubt it, but I mean, that was literally just a casual line of reasoning, so I wouldn't expect it to be like flawless or anything, but something's up there. That's crazy. Maybe it did it again over here in this area. Like it filled in here. There's pressure, there's flow going this way that's containing the boundary, but another flow going in along this wall where current goes faster, so it kind of fills this area. Reminiscent of like this one. Reminiscent of this. Let's rotate it, I guess. Why not? Where there's current flows through this neck of this shallogram to the top of the shallogram, because that's how shallograms function, long story short. How they were formed by current flows also, but the essentially currents of shale in these stones flowed through chakras to the base of the stone, and then were caused to flow back around the stone to the top of the stone and then drain through the chakras and form an ammonite structure inside a stone, because that's how the ammonites actually formed, is by current flows. Which will then lead to this typical like top thing, but this one it actually divides. So there's like a portion here where it then runs into itself and it has like a hard boundary over here. So like this segment on the outside is one current flow, kind of like the rock, Al-Nazla rock has multiple current flows applying like pressure points. This one had a certain current flow going this way, another going in here, and I believe possibly another going in here, although it looks like this one went over, ran into this, and then was caused this way to create a boundary there, because there's kind of a boundary. So it's possible this one over this region was actually fueled from the portion going up through the center that then ran into the portion going to the side and held its boundary, which then has these outflows over here. I wonder if there's any such thing here. Like this kind of thing, maybe. So that current though, which possibly by the shape of this, something more than what I'm saying is going on for sure in terms of, like, it's not just from the Himalayas over, it's just like that's a big contributor to the overall effect. Like water's flowing around these mountains and going across. We're applying a pressure all the way across here. But there's certainly nuances where it's doing some stuff here and wrapping around, branching into all these little fingers. Possibly made it out over here. Or even just like made it over here and went up along here. Oh, there's the Dead Sea. Oh. Almost like what all these currents were forced this way, and then up this way, and then up this way. But then there's currents over here that are running into it, and they're just kind of following a boundary of each other that then etches through this channel, possibly in opposition, like this one's flowing over, maybe starting to go down like this way. Around here. Let's see, does that make sense? It's kind of generally, like if current's flowing through all of this and around Greece, then they'd kind of be like forced into a direct flow, like rather than spreading out kind of flow. Like the most direct pressure from current flowing across would be limited by Greece effectively to maybe be like over here somewhere. But then running into all of this current that's going across, running in, flowing down and going up. So it runs into it and is caused to go down this way, where then it joins this other current that went this way, and then goes through and cuts this region entirely, and then goes out. In the process, some reason creating the Dead Sea, which is just really, really salty. And other unique characteristics about it that this process is probably why it's the way it is. So I would say like there's a good chance, just looking at it, that flows were making it down here and across through this region, over this way, and then down into here, but running into the other current, so it actually was also going up this way. This is pretty elevated, whatever's going on there, although between it is not. So maybe current could keep going through here. Through there. There's probably other current too, like not going in this way but going further out that it's running into, like out this way, that's kind of coming in, reaching in and restricting it all. Must have been some oil involved too in the process somehow. Like there's a reason there's all this oil there. It's not a happenstance. There's definitely a current that made it across here and over this way. Like through this channel, pretty much. Across here. So maybe there's more current making it through here. But across from over here, that continued into resistance. Because there's an eddy here flowing like this generally over South America and Africa. So it's kind of going up and around and across. And then joining more. This one's more in the flow. I do have this green shown that way. Maybe there's just so much current flowing through here that it applied a more of a resistance and led to more buildup along this area from other currents flowing across this way. They were more able to interact in the area over here before they accumulated. Like rivers joining, and then once they join, it starts to ramp up this way. And then once it starts to relieve the pressure over here, it starts to come back. Maybe some relationship between how that area formed in the Red Sea. Even influencing over here, like it's definitely not an accident that this thing's general boundaries are like similar to what's going on over there. So this was probably running into resistance, and just like over here, and going along this way and up that way, but also over here, running into resistance and going along this way, up here, through here. Oops. Not every detail of this is unequivocally correct. We're more so over here. Maybe I'll move me real quick. Okay. Like, I feel like this purple one is actually going the other way. Based on some geological data, I think I arrived at that it had to be going this way, and then cross here, down through here. If it's going down through here, but this is applying a resistance to almost to like push it up. It's also passing the Himalayas. Like if there's a current flow going across this way, once it passes the Himalayas influence, this can happen, this can happen. But also this can go up instead of going sideways like that. It goes up, over, underneath this, like around, and then around that way maybe. Certainly there's really complex current flows at play here. What exactly, I don't want to get too much into other details. What exactly was going on? Whoa. This structure. Almost like something's going up, running into some other current and creating a shallogram features. Like this current, I guess. Running into each other, forming some kind of eddy that then deflected this current around the eddy. Maybe. There's so many cross currents, it looks like, from east to west, just across it. Not so visible there. Looks visible here. Once we look in, it still looks pretty visible. But we can definitely see multiple directions. Oh, let's follow that. That almost looks like this right here. Continued all the way over here to wherever I was just looking at. There it is. Maybe. Let's say there's current going in this way, going up and around and just filling this area, and then generally going across into Al Nasla rock formation, and then another eddy forms here. Could the formation of this eddy, if it goes like this, because it's probably going to go down, run into the resistance, and deflect back this way, so it would probably form in a counterclockwise rotation. Could it then apply a pressure into this other system to force a current flow, like a jet stream, out of it, where it just so happens that the Al Nasla rock formation is in its path? But not like directly in its path, so it wasn't completely destroyed, but it's generally in its path enough that it was influenced. Could it be? I don't know how long to keep going. I could really keep going a while. Also, I was looking at this a lot since I had it at the beginning. The last episode I mentioned, I believe, how this looks like a terminal. And I talked about this more in depth in the Cross the Bering Strait or something episode. I was kind of looking around, no particular, kind of like this one, no like particular topics except for something general to then like spread from. And I noticed this and I was like, huh. And I was looking over here, like if you look at Earth like this, like the normal angle, kind of like how if you switch this, North America looks like a dragon face. It's totally invisible, essentially, from this angle. Like it doesn't really, the dragon face that's there doesn't really pop out. And then from this angle, like there's other things pop out depending on the angle we look at things. Or like here, the stag head, and so on, all the cool things. But if we look over here, I mean, everyone's seen the like shapes of the continents, generally speaking. Well, not everyone, but most people have seen the shapes of the continents enough where they would just be like, yeah, that's Africa, and that's Europe. But like, it occurred to me when I was looking at it, like that much rotated. It's not even that much rotated, really. With this in mind, that there's this little tab over here, like a terminal, that it looks a lot like a shallogram. Like, let's say, maybe that first one, but let's see. Like this angle. Let me find a good one. You can start with this one. So if we imagine this is a chakra. Chakra. And then notice it goes down and even does like step things down here. It goes down generally across here and then across here. So if we kind of hold the boundary of the lobe shape to be like right at the end of Saudi Arabia, and then this terminal thing here, like it, follow it across this way, and that's really looks a lot like this shape here, going across maybe to here. I wasn't really sure what to, like, maybe over here, but with like a corner sharp thing kind of like this on this one, how it has this sharp corner piece. So it's really more like one of these chunks over here having this sharp corner piece there. But then I thought maybe goes somewhere over here, maybe like this. Let's keep going though, because that one's not the best image. I'll stop after this and maybe I guess I could keep going. Fuck it. I wasn't really intending on making a video about this, so maybe this one. I don't know how good quality this image is. Like, notice this thing, this boundary in here, this thing. There's like nodes, and then like void space. This one's not the best. Let's find a better one. One that has dendritic structure really clear. Say this one. That's fine. It's a little angled. This is kind of what I was thinking. Like, it looks almost like a big lobe over that way with the chakra there. Even has a top, like coming down, kind of like this one. It's got this top over top the base, and then the ammonite structure, but then a top that's like above the chakra, so it's hiding one of the chakras. We can see the chakra structure below, kind of like we can see a chakra structure here, but we don't, like, maybe we see like if this was one, like a arced area here, but really especially with this, it kind of looks like the snake head that tends to happen at the top like this, like coming down over top a top chakra, and then sort of looks like, again, like this one, where if we turn it, it's like coming down in a main bulk area over top the chakra, but then it's got some like segments on the side, like over here and over here, relative to the Siberian traps area. Like the Siberian traps seem to be behaving sort of like the top of the shalogram that were then fueling, mind you, portal, the electromagnetic field or anomaly, the magnetic anomaly map of the Earth has these current flows running down into resistance and deflecting away and all this stuff, but really, most importantly, coming through this area and going other places. So through the top, if this is a shallogram like detail, through the top of the shallogram, through it, down to the bottom base chakra, where then it runs into it and fans out this way. Fans out this way, over here actually, it's running into something here, fanning out this way, goes over here, spins in, creates the Kursk magnetic anomaly going this way, and spinning into here to create like a possibly another ammonite structure in there. Okay, let's keep going. Arabian music. Supposedly no copyright. So many of my videos are getting tagged for copyright. Nothing happening to them. It's a little concerning. If someone ever decides to do something, I could get my account focused down on those types of points possibly, but so it's almost like the Himalayas themselves are like some boundary. If this is like a chakra and this is the top, I don't know what to make of it exactly. I mean, I really see it though. I really see the lobe structure out there. Having all these oddities. Also, this is pyrite. This is shale. Like, more pyrite, quartz, other materials tend to concentrate within the ammonite and not elsewhere. Like, within the ammonite, there's a bunch of desert. Not elsewhere. Not elsewhere, even. Not elsewhere, but within the ammonite. If this is a chakra within this ammonite area, which I guess goes over here and includes this other ammonite structure here, like all part of it, there seems to be a lot of desert. And then elsewhere, there's a lot more like shale-like. Within the shallogram. Not shale, but like within the shallogram structure. Certainly is Australia, but that doesn't mean Australia wasn't experiencing something similar. Australia's kind of tricky to piece together the current flows on top of it because it's kind of like looking like right here. What are the current flows that happened here without like any other surroundings? Like this is all water. There's no, it's much, like I know it was over here. I know it's generally over here between them. So like interacting for sure with this. So it's possible this chakra was forming while Australia was like within its lobe structure in some manner. It would be more like this. Or like that, I guess. Something. Well, Antarctica's attached to it. But Papua New Guinea is attached over here. It's hard. It's just hard to say without more expanding Earth maps made. Gotta use just what we got, what I'm able to do. It's hard to make a map of expanding Earth before it expanded. That's tough. That's a tough one. I could do it in parts, but I'm doing the whole thing. That's tough. Let's see if we can find any more similar features worth noting. You guys can't see them all, I can see them all. Let's do that for now, I guess. It'd be cool to compare as we go, but maybe that one. Close that. Let's see what we got here. I'll do it like that. It's a little bent. But so it could be that there's like this isn't just one out this way, like it actually ends here, like here. Like this area is like an outer lobe, and then there's like an inner lobe that kind of starts somewhere around here. And like this area is more like its influence. I don't know. Yeah. This is the top. There's that chakra there. Top. Threaded through. Like a threading. Through. To the bottom, maybe? I don't know. I think that's the current bottom. Makes me think of, let's see if we can find it. It's probably down further. This one. Makes me think of that. Almost looks like physically spread out. Like the top and bottom were closer, and then they got spread out by the current flows through the stone that form the structure that then physically spread out the stone. I don't know. It looks like it. It probably just etched the stone, but it kind of looks like it got puffed up by the process. Okay, I guess I'll stop there. I got some other stuff to talk about. Nebulas. I think I kind of touched on everything. I was just kind of glancing at this, looking at it like that. Also, I looked over here. It's hard to say, like, is this part of it too? Because this would be wedged in here. So that would be not really, unless it had like a off shooting current like this. Like off of the lobe had a current. Had perhaps at the more like the 1/3, 2/3 kind of marks, like those ones and these ones. Then over here. So not like the bottom or top or the far end, but actually like 1/3, 2/3 kind of spot. 1/3, 2/3. In a way where it had an actual current flow going down this way. And another current flow going up that way. Which then wrapped around like a larger chunk, like the next chunk. Let's see if I can find more chunks. Like this, like in general, like another chunk out. But like Africa was like here, and then it had currents off that way. That wrapped around like South America, North America. And then Europe was like over on the top half, like part of the top. So it got divided. Like top, top. Like this was all the top. And then the current went that way. And this way. It's tough to say. It's probably other details, like in the magnetic anomaly map. It's possible the overall structure like contributed to some of the outcomes. I don't know if they actually like were the reason for any of the divisions, but and then what does that mean? Like if there is an ammonite type shape there, what does that actually mean for like the process of the flood when the current flows were etching the earth? What does that mean about all my other considerations of current flow paths and things? Like, whoa. Okay, dudes, I'll stop there. Thanks for watching. Till next time, later. Peace.